Hey guys, I'm here with AnnaKiefer, history teacher at the Lord Fairfax Community College, Luray Page County Center. Ms. Kiefer is one of the school's most interesting professors, and we're here today just to kind of talk about her time at the LFCC and you know what she kind of does away from the scenes. So it's great to be here with you, Ms. Kiefer.
Great, thanks for being here.
So I guess first off, you know, what can you really tell me about your tenure so far at Lord Fairfax Community College?
I've only been here at Lord Fairfax through the fall, or from last fall, so fall of 2010. This is my second semester here, and so far it's been really great. I've really enjoyed working here in Luray. I have a couple classes in Middletown, and then I have one class here in Luray, and it's been a good experience, and I'm very glad that I decided to take the opportunity to work here.
What do you think that Lord Fairfax Community College and the Luray Page County Center in particular sort of brings to the educational experience that you might not get elsewhere?
One of the things that I really like about this aspect here is the fact that the classes are very small. Most of my classes are about between 15 and 25 students. And for example, if you go to James Madison or you go to George Mason, you're going to have a history class, a general history class of 100 or 120. So you really get a one-on-one experience, more so with an actual instructor rather than a teaching assistant that you may get at a larger school. And one of the things that I strive to do in particular is make sure that my students would get the same education that they would had they gone to a place like Tech or JMU.
And now we know that this is one of your first years teaching in such a formal environment. What have you found to be some of the most rewarding aspects of teaching?
I think one of the most rewarding aspects is when students actually go, "Hey, that's really interesting," or "I didn't know that," or they go, "Wow, I didn't know that." Especially when it comes to history, because history can be a really boring subject. It's history. It happened 400 years ago. Well, one of the things that I strive to do is make history relevant, and so I'm always trying to say, if it happened 400 years ago, does it affect us today? And so I think students, I can actually see light bulbs in the head when they make those connections, and I really like to make those connections and then have students go, well, history maybe isn't the worst thing. It was not the worst subject I've ever taken. Hoping that students will go away with that idea.
Okay. And I understand a large part of your work history has been in museum education. What can you sort of tell us about that and how it led into your career in teaching?
Well, museum education is, it's very hands-on oriented. We do a lot of questioning methods with museum education, and I try to do that. Here too, I do a lot of questioning. Sometimes I'll do hands-on in my own classroom. But when I actually worked in a library for a year at one point, decided this was not what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. I did not want to sit at a desk in a library for a while, and it was not what I wanted to do. And so I said, education is where I want to be. And so that museum education drive, trying to find a position in museum education is different. It was very difficult, and I thought, well, why not look for some other way of taking my love of history and putting that out there, maybe in a different type of setting. And so when the opportunity came to work at LFCC, I said, sure, why not? It'll be something new and something different.
Now, perhaps the most interesting part of your life is your reenactments. Now, what can you tell us about those, just starting at the most basic thing and work its way up?
I do some reenacting, and I actually have branched out into different time periods as time has gone on. I originally started with the French and Indian War, or the 7 Years' War, as some people will call it that as well, which took place in North America from 1754 to 1763. Of course, that is where George Washington gets his start, so people, it's usually the name that gets thrown out there. People are like, oh yeah, now I remember that war. A lot of people don't know about it. It's kind of obscure. I've been doing that for about 20 years. And since working for the Virginia War Museum in Newport News, I've kind of branched out into different time periods, including some World War I. I do World War I Army Nurse Corps, and World War II waves and civilian impressions with that too. And also do 17th century Powhatan. So yeah, so I have kind of branched out a little bit. I've had some people asking me, what do you do? And I'm like, I think the question would be more, what don't I do? So I've kind of been the jack of all trades and master of none.
And what can you tell us about your own reenacting organization and how that sort of started?
Wagner's Company of the Virginia Regiment is the group that I currently belong to. I actually completely forgot to mention earlier that I also just became a member of the garrison at Fort Dobbs in North Carolina. That's North Carolina's only frontier fort from the French and Indian War, and it is owned by the state of North Carolina. But I have I started with the French and Indian War because it's just something different. It's something new. It's something different, and it's been an interesting experience. Wagner's Company, we like to do the smaller events rather than the large, battle reenactments. We'll do those. The guys like to go and shoot the muskets and things like that because that's fun. And it's neat to go watch the guns and the cannons go boom. Yeah. But at the same time, we're more focused on the teaching aspect of the hobby, as it were. We'd rather talk to people about what we're doing rather than, oh, let's go shoot guns. So.
Well, it makes sense as how you become such a great professor in such a short amount of time. Ms. Kiefer, thank you so much for being with us, and had a great time.
Great, thank you.